China's ambassador to Zimbabwe said China is ready to support Zimbabwe's innovation-driven industrialization and modernization agenda. During his presentation titled Innovation, Catalyst for Industrialization and Trade at the ZITF, he highlighted that China's role in propelling the country's socio-economic development is in works. Andile Chuma and Michelle Kanguru compiled the following report.
Trade between China and Zimbabwe has experienced positive growth over the years, primarily driven by tobacco and mineral exports to China. Trade between the two countries hit a record high of $3.12 billion in 2023, reflecting a 29.9% increase from the previous year. China says it is committed to fostering Zimbabwe's innovation-driven industrialization.
First, as Zimbabwe's largest source of foreign investment, China plays a key role in propelling Zimbabwe's economic and social progress, which has laid a solid foundation for Zimbabwe's innovation-driven development. Hundreds of Chinese companies are operating in Zimbabwe, generating tremendous forest income, tax revenue, and hundreds of thousands of job opportunities for Zimbabwe.
Trade between Zimbabwe and China has grown to over $1.2 billion annually, with Zimbabwe exporting tobacco, cotton, and various minerals. China has invested over $1 billion in lithium mining and says this will improve the country's manufacturing sector.
In the lithium mining sector, Chinese companies have invested more than $1 billion, making Zimbabwe an important player in the global new energy production and supply chain. Chinese investors have also built factories of electronic appliances, cement, tiles, fertilizer, clothing, etc., contributing to the diversified expansion of the manufacturing industry of Zimbabwe.
Apart from trade, China also remains the dominant source of investment by value, accounting for a significant 77% of all approved licenses in the first quarter of 2024. This is according to Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency. New licenses issued for projects in the first quarter was valued at $622 million. China ambassador to Zimbabwe says innovation capacity building is critical to the growth of Zimbabwe's economy.
Each year, China invites hundreds of government officials, professionals in various areas, and business leaders from Zimbabwe to China to attend capacity building programs. Some Chinese educational and vocational institutions have partnered with their counterparts here, targeting Zimbabwe's youth empowerment.
Reality on the ground is that efforts to achieve growth through trade and investments are against the grain as a result of many challenges. These include climate change. During his presentation on green industrialization and innovation, Minister Mthuli said it was important for industries to adapt to climate-sustainable practices in order to continue competing on the global scale.
Hence, in 2026, for any company, either in this room or outside, to export into the EU zone should have a license and a record of how the goods were produced, including how carbon was emitted, and if it exceeds the set threshold, the exporting company will pay penalties just to export. This calls for our local industries to find innovative ways to reduce carbon emissions in their production chains in order to compete on the global scale.
Last year, agricultural exports to China received a significant boost when Zimbabwe marked its first citrus exports to China, diversifying and expanding its agricultural exports to the Asian country. Minister Mthuli said there is a need for agricultural companies in Zimbabwe to adapt to climate-resilient seeds that can withstand drought in order to boost trade.
Introducing climate-resilient seeds, for example, Opsit was listening, for instance, means farmers, despite droughts and other extreme weather conditions, keep producing food and earning income. The output will be a throughput into the industry along the value chains.
Trade relations between the two countries continue on a positive trajectory. The hope is that this support will allow Zimbabwe to propel its economic growth against all odds. Michelle Kanguru for ZTN Prime in Harare.
Konapo, ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.